last time I attempted NaNoWriMo, I was bound and determined to win. I had tried and failed 3 times previously. I wanted to be a novelist, but I had never completed a novel. In fact, I'd never even really gotten past the first couple of chapters of a novel. This time, I decided I would do it. I hyped myself up. I had my daily word count goal ready, and I knew that I would write it every single day. I told everyone I knew about my goal for accountability. It was time for me to write a novel. November 1st, I sat down with my computer, and even though it was hard to sit down and write, I did it, and I reached my word count goal. I was going strong. The next couple of days, I did the same. It was hard, but I reached my word count goal. I think the word count goal is like 1,700 words or something like that. I wrote the beginning of the book. I didn't love what I'd written, but I was pushing through anyway. Then the weekend came, and I didn't write on Saturday or Sunday. Now I was behind, but it was okay. All I needed was a slightly higher word count goal each day, and I could do it. Never mind that I was already struggling with a lower word count goal. I could do it. I was determined to do it. But it was hard, and I started getting closer to the middle of the book, and I didn't know what to write there. I had no clue where to go with it, and my outline was really vague. I missed another day, and my word count goal went up again. By now, every time I sat down, I was stressed about what I was going to write, and I was feeling overwhelmed by how many words I was supposed to be getting every single day. I decided to skip to the end of the book where I knew what I was going to write and write the last few scenes there. So I did that and was able to continue getting some words in. And then I finished, and I had to go back to the middle of the book where I had no clue what to write, and I decided to quit. I had made it to 20,000 words, which was more than I had ever written on a single novel before, so that I was proud of that. And I'd written the beginning and the ending. I mean, how important is the middle anyway? Plus, I'd hated the experience. I had gone into it thinking that if I could finish this novel, then I would be a novelist, and if I couldn't, then I just must not be cut out for writing. And so I left NaNoWriMo just thinking, meh, it must just not be in the cards for me to write. It just proved it, right? I thought there was something wrong with me, when in fact, there was just really something wrong with my system. So what is the difference between a system and a goal? I have spent my whole life learning about goal setting and doing things like setting goals that are specific and measurable and attainable, and all of those things that they teach about goal setting. I have reached some really important goals in my life. One of them was when I went on a date with 100 different guys in high school, just group dates for fun. And that was a really big goal of mine that I had a lot of fun reaching. That wasn't always easy, but that I ended up being able to accomplish, and I felt really good about it. But I've had a lot of other goals in my life where I really felt like I dropped the ball and was a failure in that area. A lot of times in those areas, I felt like something had to be wrong with me. As I've gotten older, I have learned more about systems and habits. That has really helped me to actually accomplish the goals that I'm setting and to feel good about the direction that my life is going. So a goal is kind of the end point. It is where you want to get, and a system is how you're going to get there. What habits, what actions, what things are you going to do to reach your goal? So your goal might be to write an 80,000 word book. One system that works great for a lot of people is NaNoWriMo, where you write, well, it wouldn't be 80,000, but where you write 50,000 word novel in a month. That system for me didn't work. Every time I tried it, I failed and felt like a failure because the system wasn't working for me and my personality and what I needed at the time. As I've learned more about it, I have become a bigger and bigger advocate for small changes as your system. So if you want to write a novel and you think that sitting down and just getting it out is going to work for you, or you've done it before and it works, then that is great, and you don't need to worry about changing your system. If your system's working, then you don't need to change your system. But for me, it wasn't working, and I know that there are other people out there who NaNoWriMo doesn't work for them, and it's actually better for them to do slow and steady drafting. A slow and steady might look slightly different to some people. Like for some people that might be 1,000 words a day, or 2,000 words a week, or 500 words a day, or whatever, however you divide it up. For me, I try and do 500 words a day for 2,500 words a week, and that works really well for me. I am building up my writing stamina and using that system to build up to how many words I can do at a time in one sitting. So eventually I do want to do NaNoWriMo and win NaNoWriMo, but I want to work up to it. I don't want it to be another experience for me where I try and it causes me anxiety and I fail. And so I want to wait until my kids are a little bit older so that I have a little bit more time. Because the time that I told the story at the beginning, I also had a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old at the time. And so of course, you know, putting that much time towards writing was very stressful and hard for me. Makes sense. And so I do want to wait until my kids are just a little bit older and a little more self-sufficient so I can set aside that time to do that for myself. And I also want to get to the point with writing where I feel really confident in my ability to get a draft out and can actually sit down and write more than 500 words at a time in one sitting without it feeling hard to even just get the 500 words out. When I first learned about systems, I was like, yeah, this is it. I want to use systems and not goals, because I thought that systems were superior to goals, because I could see in my life the times when I would set a goal and then forget about it. Like, I can't tell you how many times I have set New Year's resolutions and then at the end of the year I look at my goals and I'm like, oh yeah, I totally even forgot that I wanted to do that, right? You just like forget. Or I would set a goal and it would be unattainable for me because it was such a big change. And so then I would start off strong, you know, like everyone's New Year's resolutions, you know, January is the best month, and then you kind of lose steam as the year goes on until the end of the year, and then the next year you set the same one because, you know, gosh darn it, I'm gonna do it this year kind of thing. But then you don't, because it's too big of a leap, too big of a change all at once. I went through a phase where I thought that goals actually weren't that great and that systems were the superior way to do it when I first learned about systems. But now I have kind of come to the realization that both are really important. One of the things about systems, they're a much more detail-oriented type thing. And so you can be doing something really small, going in a direction that you don't actually want to go in. And that's why bad habits are so destructive, because it's way too easy to just fall into these habits that are taking us places that we don't want to go, but in the moment we don't see where they're taking us. You know, eating pizza once or twice a week doesn't feel that harmful in the moment but long term it can be really destructive for your health and your weight and all of these different areas of your life. But in the moment when you're eating pizza, you're not thinking about the long term direction that you're headed. And I think that's where goals are really important. They set the destination. It's like the quote from Alice in Wonderland where Alice is walking and she's asked the Cheshire Cat which direction she should go, and the Cheshire Cat asks her where she wants to go, and she says, I don't really have a destination, I don't care where I go. And he goes, well, then it doesn't matter which direction you go. And I think that's exactly what goals are. Goals are saying, this is where I want to end up. And you can use your goals as a destination, and then you can say, are my systems, are my habits taking me where I want to go? You don't have to be there right now. It's really important to understand that trajectory is more important than current location, because if you know where you want to go and you're heading in that direction, that's a lot better than saying, oh, well, I'm not there yet, and then just giving up. And so, you know, it just helps with like discouragement and stuff to understand that trajectory and small progress towards that trajectory is more important than where you are right now, because none of us are where we want to end up at the end of our lives, because then we wouldn't be able to make progress in our life anymore. Yeah, you use the goal to say, this is where I want to end up, and then you look at your habits and your systems and you say, is this system taking me where I want to go? Is eating pizza twice a week going to help me reach my health goals and my weight goals? In 5 years, if I keep eating pizza twice a week, what is my life going to look like? That's not where I want to be. So what I can do is I can start making changes. Instead of eating pizza twice a week, we could eat pizza twice a month. This is like a real example because my husband and I love pizza, and I don't always love making dinner, and so pizza is a really easy go-to for us. And so some things that we have done, some systems that we have in place to try and help us, is we have a list of easy meals that we like to make, like tacos. We keep some easy things around, like we'll keep canned chili around, and we'll add beef gelatin to it to give it some extra protein. And that can be a really easy dinner if I don't want to make dinner, so that we don't feel like we need to go buy pizza. We have some places that we like to go out to eat that don't have pizza. Like one of the things we like to get is carne asada from Beto's. It's not super expensive, and it's meat and beans and rice, and then if you add a vegetable to it and share it, then it's not too bad of a meal, but it's also really easy and yummy. We'll do things like we will get, when we go and get a frozen pizza, we'll get a rotisserie chicken, and while the pizza is cooking, the family will eat the rotisserie chicken, and then our whole family is getting protein in before we eat the pizza, so then we don't eat as much and we get to fill up on protein. And if you add like canned green beans with it, then you have a fairly balanced meal there. Even though it's pizza, it's going to be a lot healthier. And then the other thing we've done is we have other special meals that we like to do, like we have some chicken nachos that we like, or we'll do hamburgers as kind of a special thing that are more special. Breakfast for dinner is another one that we do for movie night, so that every single Friday we're not feeling like we need to get pizza emotionally. We can have other options, and then we can still get pizza sometimes for movie night. And so those are just some examples of systems that we use to try and help us to not eat pizza, even though pizza is a really easy and accessible choice that we really like. And so we just know that eating pizza too much isn't going to be healthy for us, and so we try to limit how much pizza we're eating using those systems, because our goals, our health goals, our long-term health goals would not be achievable if we continue to eat the way that we were eating before. I would love to hear your thoughts about systems and goals in the comments below, and we can chat more about it there. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe for lots of reading and writing content. And if you want to follow my reading journey, I do post a review to Goodreads of every book that I read, and I also post my favorite books to Instagram, as well as more about my writing journey there, and those will both be in the description box below. And thank you so much for watching my video. I will see you in the next one.